In the last video of this Daniel series, we saw the pride and arrogance of King Nebuchadnezzar as he erected a huge gold image of himself. Then he called together the princes, the governors, the captains, judges, treasurers, councils, and sheriffs, all the rulers of the provinces. And now pay attention in the next two verses to all of the words that have to do with hearing and sound. Then an herald cried aloud, "To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up." And then in verse 6, he lets them know whoever doesn't do this, the penalty is going into the fiery furnace. And in case you do not know, this scripture in Daniel is so similar to the one in Revelations. And it's so important for us today to look at the similarity because we are just before the fulfillment of that scripture in Revelation. Revelation 13:15, and he, the second beast, had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak, command, that as many would not worship the image of the beast would be unalive. In both scriptures, there is a voice, a sound floating over the people. It's like a satanic Kool-Aid, baiting people to obey it, to come into idolatry and come up under a spell. Newsflash, we do not have to obey. It is absolutely a choice. It's a matter of deciding in your heart who you are going to listen to, who you are going to obey. Time and time again in the Old Testament, God says to hearken to his voice. And to hearken means that you are listening to him with an intention to then obey him. And scripture does tell us that there are blessings for listening to him and curses for not listening to him. Jesus also said, if you love me, then you will obey me. You will obey my commandments. So your obedience to his words and his commandments proves your love for God. And his commandments are to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and to love your brother as yourself. So whether we choose to listen to the voice of the Lord or we choose to listen to another voice, we see that it is a choice. And this is proven in this chapter because his astrologers, his magicians, tell on the three boys that will not bow. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego heard the same sounds as everyone else, but they intentioned in their hearts that no matter what, they were not going to bow down to that idol. And they chose to stay in obedience to God. And we will look at the incredible blessing that came their way for that decision. But right now, let's go back to that scripture in Daniel and look how it applies today. The first instrument used was the cornet, which is literally a trump. The second instrument was a flute, like the Pied Piper uses. And the next instruments all can be called lyres. Liar, liar, liar. So as that trump sounds, as that flute spills its sound out over people, liar, 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 those lies are witchcraft. And those who have chosen to hearken to his voice, to listen to it with the intent of obeying have actively chosen to reject Jesus, the true vine, and all of his teachings. Instead, they open their minds to his words, attach themselves to the vile vine, receiving satanic Kool-Aid from its source and making his rhetoric their rhetoric. And he is training his people to accept more and more of what he says as their truth. He's training them for Revelation 13, for the mark, and for the bowing down to the image. And they will be here for that. Because of their attachment to him, they are not being raptured. They will be here for tribulation. Remember, Jesus said in John 10:27, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." One of these MAGA people that I've known for years made a video recently saying, "I will never leave him. I will never leave him," meaning he'll never leave Jesus. But he doesn't understand. He already has. He made a decision in his heart to hearken to the stranger's voice. He is in idolatry, attached to the vile vine, up under a witchcraft spell and doesn't even know it. And he is under God's judgment. Jesus commanded us to love, and then he was good enough to spell it out for us in Matthew 25. Feed the poor, help the stranger, be good to those in prison, take care of the sick. The way to obey God is to not roll back from doing these things. It's to do these things extravagantly. The hour is late. Hearken to the voice of the Lord. Listen with the intention of obeying. God bless you all. Stay tuned for the rest of this series. There's so much more.